Andrew Yang appeared on the Real Time with Bill Maher show on Friday night, and he was the guest that came out and sat down and talked, and then he was added to the panel at the end. So it was a good opportunity for Andrew Yang to get his message out. What I'd like to do is talk about his appearance on the show, some things that were discussed, and also some new questions I have about Andrew Yang. Hit the like button if you like this, and don't forget to share it. Here goes some of the clip.
23 people are running. Why you?
I'm running for president because I'm focused on solving the problem that got Donald Trump elected in the first place in 2016. He's our president because we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all the swing states that he needed to win. And my friends in technology know we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on and on.
That's my jam right there, guys. Yeah, when I interviewed Yang a couple months ago, and he told me that he felt that Donald Trump was elected because of automation in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, that moved me. Because up to then, a lot of people were saying it was Russia. Now, I'm not going to say, in retrospect, that that was like the main thing. I think when you got a candidate like Hillary Clinton, whose campaign slogan is, "I'm with her," which has to be probably the worst campaign slogan in the history of campaign slogans. I mean, it's right up there with, "So what if we ruin the earth? We'll just buy another one." Or, "Who needs kids anyway?" Or the one the ladies like, "Sometimes you got to hit your wife." So yeah, Yang has a point. But so do I.
We have to wake America up to the fact that it is not immigrants that are causing these problems. It's not immigrants, am I right? It's technology and
You don't have to
advancing
work that
economy.
hard to get them to applaud.
Hey, for the record, I just want to make something clear about Yang here, man, when he talks about immigrants. He's not talking about Jorge and Julistina, who crossed the Mexico border, who came here with nothing, with a couple of rice grains in their pockets and a hope in their eyes and not knowing the language. Andrew Yang grew up with very well-to-do parents who his dad is like a PhD in physics. He has like 160,000 patents. His mom was a master's degree in like statistics. Like he went to all the best schools. He's not your average like immigrant, like the one when you think immigrant. It's not talking about Latino brothers and sisters, but just trying to cross out of Guatemala. And he ain't talking about black folks in the belly of slave ships who didn't come here looking for like a better life, but came here because whips hurt. Not the same thing. I'm just bringing that up because when people say immigrant, they think different things. They don't think, yeah, it's doing all right, Like my Nigerian brothers who came here with money, We had like butlers and chauffeurs. They come here and you say, "Well, I'm an immigrant." Where can I get that kind of immigrant love, man? I want the immigrant hookup. I'm not saying that disqualifies him at all, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Doesn't mean he can't have good ideas. It just means we got to keep it real. I wish I was that kind of immigrant. That's all I'm saying. Give me that status. Oh, this lowly immigrant with 5 degrees and wealthy parents and connections and money back home and land.
So that's part of your plan. Then the thing that's in your book, UBI, which sounds like a bowel disease.
I didn't name it.
I know, but every time I hear UBI, I think, ugh.
Well, it's one reason why we've rebranded it the Freedom Dividend.
Okay.
And it's a plan where everyone gets $1,000 a month.
Everybody gets it. Everybody. Rich, poor.
Yes, you too.
Eh.
You need it, I know.
I've been thinking about the whole everybody get $1,000 a month thing. And don't get me wrong, I like it. I like certain parts of it. But I am also concerned because some people, I don't think they really need money. I mean, come on, like, I want everybody to be able to afford food, to be able to live indoors, and I want people to afford their medications, and I don't want people so desperate, right? That's where crime comes from. That's what I believe anyway. But, yo, like, all of us know somebody that if they had money, they'd be dead. You know, because there are people who are really irresponsible, man. Like, $1,000 to a meth head is a death sentence. And I know we can't police people, but it's like giving a pyromaniac a box of matches and going, find something to do. There are certain ills in society that, yeah, you know, we're going to lose some people. Some people are going to die, Yang.
So we have to create a mechanism where the American public actually benefits from artificial intelligence and all these new automations.
Right.
So if we had even a mild value-added tax and gave the American public a tiny slice of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile, it would generate over $800 billion in new revenue, which would be enough to pay for the vast majority of this dividend of $1,000.
Okay, but to me, this is only part of the problem. You're saying people are going to be thrown out of work.
Yep.
You call it a tsunami of unemployment. I think you're right. Because of automation, robots, and so forth. So now we're making sure they don't starve. We give them money. But what do they do all day? It's not just money. People have to have a purpose in life. You have to have a reason to get up in the morning.
What do people do now? What are the rich kids or the Hollywood types that you've hung out with your whole career? What do? Smoke cocaine or sniff cocaine and smoke weed and have unprotected sex and watch Netflix. I don't know. But that's for them to figure out. Don't go trying to think for everybody, you know? Got a hard enough time just making sure grandma can live indoors, not have to eat the dog food, and still afford her medications. Let's get that part done first before we worry about the existential crisis of the human spirit, feeling fulfilled. Let's fill some stomachs and fill out some job applications or fill out some, you know, business loans. Let's fill that. Feel that. You feel me? Well, I tell you, man, Bill's just always, he lives in a bubble, man. Bubble boy Bill Maher.
I had no idea that was such a controversial. Well, people need a reason to get up. Yes, Bill, finally, someone has said it. Yeah.
Well, I'm Asian, so you know I like to work.
Yeah.
But
they're
right
wooing you, and you did it on yourself. That's very politically correct.
Yeah, they're booing him. That's because he does that a lot. Yeah, he makes the Asian cracks a lot. Yeah, I know he's Asian. I know. I'm not trying to be a real prick about it, but what I'm saying is, like, dude, you know, you're always making fun of Asian dudes. I know you're Asian, but are you running for stand-up comedian or are you running for president? In fact, he did it twice in the same show. Like, he did it right here, and then he did it again when he sat at the table.
Andrew Yang, who do you most look forward to challenging in the upcoming debates?
Well, I've said that I have an 8% chance of standing next to Joe Biden, and that's the plan because I want America to Google Asian man standing next to Joe Biden. He is the front runner.
Yes.
You gotta beat the front runner.
Okay.
It's like, dude, like, I don't know, the Asian community, don't you guys have like a rule, like how many shots you can take at yourself to make white people feel more comfortable or like you more? Shouldn't there be a rule? Like, isn't there like a rule, like, for black people, if you do it too much, they got a name they call you. It's called coon. Yeah. Asians don't have an equivalent to coon somewhere for guys who try to soften their, try to fit in more with the white guys by lowering themselves a little bit. Like, that's not good, man. That's not good. And don't get me wrong, I like Andrew Yang, but just sometimes he comes across like he's not taking this serious at all. And being a president's a pretty serious job. And just because you got Trump right now doesn't mean people don't want a serious candidate. And just because I'm making light of it with this video, the way I'm delivering this video, because I'm not a boring Don Lemon or Wolf Blitzer, or Anderson Cooper, or Jake Tapper, or Rachel Maddow, or Joy Reid, doesn't mean there's not some serious notes underneath all of this. And that is, Yang, are you serious? Are you for real? Or are you just trying to sell another book? It's a valid question. Where you're playing with people's emotions and not really planning on doing much about anything. Making jokes.
Americans need structure, purpose, fulfillment, all the things that jobs provide. But the biggest misconception about the freedom dividend is that it's somehow going to reduce work. It's actually going to create 2 million new jobs. It's going to recognize the kind of work that my wife does. Yeah, because of the economic growth in the economy, just having more buying power.
Okay, so what jobs are we getting now that we're...
So those jobs happily will keep some of the Main Street stores open that would otherwise close, but it would also start to recognize the kind of work that my wife does. My wife's at home with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic, and right now the market values her work at 0. It values all caregiving as at essentially 0. And so by having this dividend in place, not only do we create new jobs, we also start recognizing and rewarding the work that's already going on in our families and communities. We can actually expand what we think of as work.
Okay, so...
Now this I like, and I don't like. It's like Andrew Yang is using his wife's situation, them having an autistic child, as an example of how a freedom dividend would be a salary for that work that his wife does. And there is worth and value in that, and she's providing that to their child. That's great. But like, how many people are doing that are staying home who need an income? And isn't there like a disability for some people who stay at home or who take care of a caregiver, if they're a caregiver to someone with a disability? Isn't there a disability check for some of those people? And I'm not saying, look, I'm not certain about how all of this works. As up to now, I haven't had to deal with it personally, knock on wood, because it could happen in any family. We do need to keep people from falling through the cracks and being homeless and people not being able to live indoors or people not being able to afford good food and living in these food deserts where the food is horrible. We have a lot of problems. I don't know if just giving people money will solve all of their problems. We need like grocery stores with real food and growing food in these neighborhoods and these communities. And we need real industry, and we need a lot of things done. And I'm sure he has some stuff on his website. Guys, put it in the comment section what Yang is talking about doing about all the other issues. And it's like every time he's on one of these shows, so much focus is on the UBI or the freedom dividend that we never really get to all the other, issues.
I've been shocked, Bill, when I go around the country, how working class Americans feel like the Democratic Party does not care about people like them, is not talking to them.
Right.
And when I was growing up, the Democratic Party was the party of the working class, the little guy or gal. We need to get back to that. I can't tell you how much credit Donald Trump got just for calling out the pain that many of these communities are in. And so if the Democratic Party stops condescending and says, look, we're here to actually work on solving your problems, we can go very, very far with many of the people who voted for Donald Trump.
Is this because of identity politics?
Well, so I'm the son of immigrants. I understand the impulse behind identity politics, but Democrats have to know that identity politics is a very poor way to approach winning national elections, and it's a very poor way to bring our country together. We have to enact solutions that will help all Americans. And when Martin Luther King championed a guaranteed minimum income in the 60s, which is almost exactly like my freedom dividend, he didn't do it for any subset of Americans. He did it for all Americans. And that's, again, how we move the country forward.
Man, I don't know what it is, but every time I hear working class Americans, I'm always thinking that they're talking just about white guys. It just feels that way. I hope I'm wrong with Andrew Yang when he says this, working class Americans. I hope what he really means is that everybody, right? And I'm going to take him at his word that he does. Now this is one of the problems I have about income inequality, because people don't want to admit the fact that if you give everybody $1,000, that basically our positions in life never change. Black people will still be on the bottom rungs of our society, still be the most impoverished, most unemployed, most incarcerated group in America, though we've been here as long as most of the white people who immigrated here after slavery. And I know a lot of people don't want to address that, nor do they want to hear it, because frankly, that's white supremacy in action. And if we don't want to, people don't want to tackle it. And Andrew Yang is no different than most of the other politicians who don't want to address it. They just want to say, everybody will do better. So everybody's got a car now, but you still don't have any wealth. You still don't have anything to pass on to your family, because $1,000 a month is not going to provide wealth for your family. Wealth is land, ownership, things that appreciate, things you can pass down. You can't pass down $1,000. It just doesn't work that way. So I'm looking at, what Andrew Yang's talking about, and I'm listening, and I still have reservations, and now I have more reservations because now the luster has worn off, and now I'm digging into other policies. So I'd like to hear more from Andrew Yang about what the intentions are about all the other stuff that's going on. But don't get me wrong, I like Andrew Yang. Remember what I said about the immigrants and about where he says MLK and the immigrants and we got to raise all boats, that type of talk does not seriously address disenfranchised groups, man. People who just want something outside the norm when it comes to a political candidate, they like Andrew Yang. And there's a lot of people online. And I'm not saying I don't like Andrew Yang. I'm not saying you shouldn't like him. What I'm saying is listen to what he's saying and ask yourself, if you were part of a disenfranchised group, how much would this really help you? And is it feasible for those people? Why aren't we targeting the people who are most hurt? That's all. And I think it takes guts to do that. And I think that's what this country needs. And I think the fact that we need it is probably why we can't get it done, because of what we really need. We're more likely to get this done than to get the targeting help to the people who are actually suffering the most, who've been given the worst hand in the country, who are struggling the most generationally in this country and have been. And no end in sight in that struggle. The struggle is real, y'all. My name is Tim Black, Real Tim Black, brutally honest always. Hit me up, email me at tim@timblack.tv.com. Follow me, join my wolf pack, and I'll see you on the next video.